Welcome to your next step up the self-publishing mountain.
I'm Matilda Swift, author of quintessentially British cozy mysteries.
And I'm Samantha Cummings, author of young adult books about magic, myths and monsters.
I've written the books,
Changed their covers,
tweaked their blurbs,
tried tools from a dozen ads courses.
and I'm still not seeing success.
Now, we're working together to plot and plan our way from barely making ends meet to pulling in a living wage.
Join us on our journey where we'll be mastering the pen to snag that paycheck.
Hello and welcome to Pen to Paycheck Authors Podcast. I'm Matilda Swift, here with my co-host Samantha Cummings, and we're here to write our way to financial success. We're two indie authors with over 24 books between us and still a long way to go towards the quit the day job dream. If that sounds familiar, listen along for our Mastery Through Missteps journey. Each week we cover a topic to help along the way. This week we're critiquing each other's books. But first, what are your wins and whinges of the week?
I'm so glad you asked. I have had a week that feels like the longest week of my life, and I was just saying before we started recording, I feel like it's been a year since we sat down to do the podcast, which isn't true. I just feel weird. I feel like I don't know where I am or what's going on.
What have you been doing this week? Because I've been away and
literally
you've
nothing.
been here.
I have no recollection of what happened last week. But I have been doing a lot of work, so maybe I've got a work brain. But this weekend I got so much admin done. So my win is that the co-working session that we had on Saturday, as part of our Epiphany engine, was just so much what I needed, and it continues to be so much what I need, because I got all of the admin things that I had on my list done, which means that I got like my NetGalley booked for my next book, which is starting in June. So I've booked my slot page for it, sent all of my the manuscript off and the cover. I did my back matter for the actual book, so it's literally one step closer to being able to upload it to Amazon. I still need to do a couple of checks, but got that kind of admin done. I did some ads work where I figured out some fun things to test with my ads, and I started an online course, not for anything that is related to anything that I was supposed to be doing. I found another course. So Harvard Online has a course, like a free course that you can do about like predictions and omens and like the history of divination, I suppose you could say. And
Can I see your hero in your Yale jumper?
And I'm wearing my Yale jumper.
You're attending Harvard.
I'm Rory Gilmore. I'm the real life Rory Gilmore. Yeah, I need to get a Harvard sweatshirt now just to represent my actual college. I started doing that as well this weekend because it felt like it was something that I would really benefit from, like, and it would help with my writing because it's like an academic magic sort of thing, and I felt like the universe had guided me to it. So I thought I'll start that, and that was really fun. And it's like a new way to use my brain. I was exhausted after just doing an hour of it, but it felt like good brain usage, which I don't often do. So
I feel like we're always using our brains. I use my brain too much, I think.
I use my brain for really fun and frivolous stuff. I feel like I don't use it to expand enough.
Oh, okay.
So I'm in an expansion stage of my life journey. And it's just really fun to be learning at a school level again, rather than just like courses that you find online for things. It feels very academic, so I'm feeling very smart, and I could have gone to Yale, but I chose Harvard, so just the opposite of what Rory did. Rory's
I mean, she did make the wrong decision.
ego.
Yeah.
How about you? I have no whinges, by the way. No whinges.
Have just come back from a week in York. Went to the monastery, which was fantastic. There were, I think, 7 of us at the start of the week. A couple people left a little bit early, but I think 7 of us. And yeah, we spent a week at the monastery, and that's the best thing about being around writers, like everyone is like a real writing dork. So we'd like write all day, and apart from like the meals provided by the monks, and then in the evening we just watched courses we went back to our writing room, watched courses on the big TV about writing and publishing. I was like, oh, this is all I want to do. And then people would like share their experience. We would like share our screen to the TV and show what everyone was doing on their various programs. It was just lovely.
I love it. That is my dream life, is to just live, like, cohabitate with writers.
Yeah. And then a few of us went on after that for a weekend in York itself, to a little house with a beautiful little terrace by the river, and it was idyllic. And a friend of mine from London came and joined us, and it felt like it was another week, even though it was just like a Friday to Sunday. And yeah, it was productive. I was not writing. I was doing a thing we'll talk about today, which felt weird. It felt unproductive, but it was what I needed. And it was a thing that would have been very easy to procrastinate on, so it was nice to have that focus. My whinge, though, is like I'm still mid-existential crisis. I relate to what we're going to talk about today, but also like this thing I was doing. So I feel very up in the air and like fundamentally like a real failure in a way that I'm not used to and I do not enjoy. So, but I feel like it's colouring everything in the moment, and I don't want it to, but like I feel how I feel. But yeah, so a lot of ups and downs.
Yeah. Yes, we are both on I feel like for a while, at the start of the year, we both felt great. Like, oh, I've got so much energy. Yeah, like, and I think a couple of weeks ago or something, I was like, oh, everything just feels like, I feel like I've got enough time for everything. And I don't know why I say these things out loud, because now I feel the complete opposite, and I feel like I don't know where my time's going. And I should never, ever say anything is going well ever again. I just completely tempt fate. So the topic of the day, the topic of the week, is that we are looking at each other's books. But why are we looking at each other's books?
I feel like maybe just to finally push into crying on the podcast is really what it might be. It is so useful and helpful for us to do, and also I think useful for us to talk through out loud, is that it's very hard to look at your own work dispassionately, but it's very hard to look at someone else's work with a critical eye. So we're looking at each other's book ones of our most recent series, and trying to really critique it and say, is this to market, essentially? And so we each had to provide the other person with what we thought were 3 comps, and said like, oh, I think these are the comps of my book. These are my genres, and can you analyze them and say like what you think? And it's as simple as that. But I think it was useful to see like what do you analyze, and this coincidentally actually for me fell in the week when I was away on my retreat and was spending an entire week looking at, I think I looked at like half a dozen, maybe slightly more, niches in the mystery genre, mostly in cozy mystery, to analyze them and see like what I might want to write next. And so I had a real week-long practice. So I feel like I had an advantage here that you didn't have.
Yes,
I had a week-long practice.
I was battling with time. Yeah.
Of trying to get my eye in and look at like what is really a comp here, what isn't a book that like they kind of look similar or they're in the same subgenre, like what's a real comp, and how do I judge what would make another book a comp to that, like what would make a book appeal to the same reader. And so I did that myself and I spent a whole solid week on it, like at a retreat doing nothing else. And then I came back and I did it for your books. So I really feel like I've given this my best work. I prepared for this for a whole week for you.
100%, you're going to have done so much more work than I've done.
But it's what I need to do right now.
Yes, we are at different stages, I suppose. You are also doing this for yourself in real time, whereas for me, like this, I'm going to be where you are in a couple of months, I think. So...
Well, expect a lot of feeling terrible about yourself. Enjoy that.
I'm going to see what happens with you and then decide whether I want to also have an existential crisis.
Would not recommend.
Yeah, but, just for solidarity, I might do it.
Yeah. I mean, I will say, like, knowing that I was coming on the podcast to talk about this made it a lot better and a lot easier, in that we are joking around, but, like, we're both looking at each other's book ones and being like, this is why your book isn't selling. And it's not necessarily an easy thing to look at for other people or yourself, but it's useful to kind of think about and be able to do for yourself. So if we just talk kind of generally, when you were starting to sit down and think about it, you had 3 books to look at and you had my book to look at. What were you looking at?
This is where we find out that I'm not a good student and you're the good student. So I looked
We're just going to find this out today, is that?
I know. So we're going to reaffirm
That's my whole thing. That's my only identity.
that you are the good student, and my identity is that I'm the bad one. And
You've got the cool hair.
Yes, that's true. I'm the disruptive, as we were saying this before we started recording. Disruptive and just
The cool
generally trying to figure things out. And so I looked at your covers to see whether your covers were on brand. I looked at the blurbs to see whether your blurb fit in with the expectation of blurbs. And then I looked at the first 10% of the comps and then your book as well to see if, like, what was promised, kind of the characterizations that appeared, the setting, and just like the writing style as well. So it was basically just a nice quick overview without getting into the nitty-gritty of seeing if I could figure out like the whole problem in one go. It was just, I was looking at it as if I was like a shopper of books looking to see which one piqued my interest, and then whichever one piqued my interest, why did that one feel like the winner? So that's how I came across.
Yeah,
how I came about it.
I think that is really useful, like just to try and be able to analyze that of like, does this fit or not? I think because I've been looking at like a lot of books this week. I think I've seen all the books there are. So if anyone wants to know about any books, I've seen them all. I've been looking at a lot of books, and really part of what I've been trying to do is judge whether something really is a comp or whether it's not. And because I think that's something I've really struggled with in the past is I think I've written the book and then picked the comp retrospectively and be like, what is this thing that I've made similar to? And in fact, I've done that with everything. I've been like, I know I like mysteries and I like coziness and I like little villages and like baking. So like, I'll write a book with all those things in and then be like, and that kind of looks like these sorts of books. So
yes,
I'll kind of give them a title that's sort of similar. Actually, I quite like this funny title. I'll do that instead. And then I really like this cute cover, so I'll do that. And like with no... And because in a lot of genres, there's a lot of spreads. You might find a spread of length, you might find a spread of styles, you might find a spread of the sorts of things it contain. And so it looks like there's this full constellation you can pick from. But actually, having looked at a lot of books this week, you can, if you want to, find like a very close cluster, like a constellation rather than the whole sky of stars. You can find a constellation of books that you say, like, these are fundamentally the same. Like on a brick by brick level, I don't know, go from bricks to stars, like on an atomic level, these are the same. And if I wrote a book that had these same features, they would be comps. They would be true comps.
You've just given me such a great visual of like a solar system, like creating like a solar system of books.
Yeah,
that you could use. Yeah,
I've been kind of like, oh, I'll pick the length of that one and the style of that one and the background of that one. It's like, no, you need to be in you're either in the constellation or you're nowhere. You're drifting in empty space. That's a horrible metaphor. Sorry, that's really mean. That's not what I meant at all.
That's how I feel.
Yeah. That's because that's how I feel, but that's not true. But you can be in the constellation and have it be a book where you know who your comps are and how to market it, because you can see how those comps market their books. Or you can be in space and being like, I'm here, I'm floating around.
Yeah, like, I'm in space too. So we're all in space, right?
Like, if you don't watch the video, you'll see a very really good impression of a meteorite. You're missing this. That's what a meteorite looks like.
And that is exactly how I would imagine a meteorite. Yes.
Yes, it's much more active than you would think. It's a real part of a meteorite I've got going on. But it has really helped. Like I'm aware this is like to some people day one stuff. It's not how I think at all. So unfortunately, it's not my day one. This is my day like 10,000 and something. It's realizing like you could find a group of books that are in the same constellation and you could write a book like that. And that is what I'm trying to do right now, is I'm looking at different genres and different niches and being like, what is the constellation at the centre of this niche? And could I write a book that would look like that? And I think to some people that sounds really reductionist and unpleasant. But like, I could write loads of books. I could write lots and lots of different types of books even. So like, you know, genres that I'm looking at are like 1920s, culinary, Christmas. There's like, there's lots of different styles to those books. There's lots of different, you know, qualities they have. I could write loads of them, and I would enjoy writing loads of them. And I want readers to enjoy the ones I write, so I don't want to write like 1920s books that are about like a male police diver who's out there solving gritty murders in the Thames with the help of his perhaps real, perhaps not, like, dragon. Like, no one's reading that, so no. It might be fun, but maybe, right, if I was going to do a passion project, that's what I would do, but I'm trying to write a book for money. I want to write a series to make money, because that's the path I've chosen right now, and there are other books that I write for passion another time. So analysing these books, like, it's really helpful, like, oh, can you find a consolation? And the books that I think both of us suggested as our comps, they're not a consolation with each other. They're not in the same consolation.
And I knew that when I sent you the email with all my information, I thought, these are the comps that I picked. Like you say, after I wrote the book, and then I tried to figure out where it sat in the market. Yeah. These are the books that I thought I was in relation to, in this potentially the same quadrant of the night sky. And a quadrant is a very large place to be.
Yeah, there's a lot of sky.
Yeah. So we're both, I would say, sci-fi geeks, so we can say these things. Yeah. And it's cool, okay? But I was like, these books are in the Delta Quadrant with me. But I knew once I sent the email, I thought, like, they're the books that I picked, because I thought, I've written a book about like a dark academia book about an academy where things happen, and it felt like that was the right thing. But I know,
and these books all have that about them. They're all like dark. They're in an academy.
Very general. Yeah. But the nitty gritty is, like, I know since releasing my book and like doing marketing and everything, is that they are not my closest. They are not my comps. But I don't know how to pick comps.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult to pick them once you've published, because once you've already written and published the book, everything is a moving target after that point. So I just feel.
But also, like once you publish your book, like, you've put your book at a certain spot in the night sky, and if you didn't pick a constellation to put it in, you can't gather a constellation around it. You're not a black hole. No, you're a star. No. I'm so this metaphor's the last episode, guys. Get used to it.
I'm so sorry. This is night sky.
Yes, this is sky at night. But like, once you put your book somewhere, it's fixed.
Yeah.
If you know, and it's immovable. And so you can't be like, oh, I think, and the books you've picked, like, you can see why you've picked them as comp. Like, there's like a bit of A from A, a bit from B, a bit from C that kind of all fit in your book. But I think what's interesting is, like, these books aren't even comps for each other in many ways. Like, if they were, I would expect to see them in each other's also books. And maybe not, like, the genre's quite broad. Like, the genre that you're in is quite broad. And if you look at the categories, they're really wide ranging. So I wouldn't necessarily expect them all to be in all of each other's also books, like, super close. But I would expect maybe the smallest one, the one with the fewest reviews, to have both the bigger ones in its also books, and it's got neither of them, even though actually on the surface they look very similar.
Yeah.
I mean, what also is interesting is they have almost identical page counts. Their page counts are 258, 248, and 244. And you're laughing because you know yours is not there. Do you know what your page count is?
4 something.
408.
Yeah. That's right. I gave extra.
That's how people see it. That's what they think.
That's exactly what people think. Like, wow, double the words, double the flavour.
But because they're writing shorter books, and because I presume you know a certain rule about the genre that you're not, like, they all are rapidly releasing, every single one of them. Yeah. So we're not going to name the books because they're not important, the actual books themselves. No. There's no critique about them. But things about them are, 2 of them were out in 2019, these ones are book 1. So I would also say they're not good comps on that front, because the publishing landscape has changed. But the 2 that were out in 2019 one had 4 books out in 6 months, one had 6 books out in 5 months. And then the one that was out, the first book in 2023, the first 4 were out in 9 months, and all 6 were in 18 months. And that's nowhere near your release schedule. And I would say if you're going to pick a comp, you also want to say, like, am I going to release like them at a similar length to them? Because otherwise readers are going to lose interest.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's definitely, and I've learnt that, obviously, over the last 12 months, that a comp isn't just the book, it's also the publishing business as well. It's like the expectation from those sorts of readers. Like these sorts of readers like to read a series quickly and will binge read it. And I am not that kind of writer. I'm not a fast writer. I'm a fast writer, but I'm not a fast publisher. I'm not going to rapid release books.
You could do, if you're going to say, I'm going to write books that are literally half the length, you could have twice as many books.
Yeah.
So you could be matching this schedule if you knew you had to. If you're like, you know what, this is the niche for me. I found these comps that are 100% like me, and all I need to do is write shorter word count, more books. I could do that.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, these are not close comps, so that's not a thing that you're going to say, like, oh, now I know what to do. But, like, if you found a group, like a little constellation, you're like, oh, that's my niche, and I can see that I need to change one thing about myself, which is to have a faster release schedule and shorter books. Yes, I can do that.
Yes, yeah.
I think what else I looked at was really interesting was I read the blurbs, obviously, and they all had a really weirdly similar style of blurb that didn't reflect their writing at all. They all had like a very sassy blurb, and some of the books were sassy and some of the books were not, but they were like very high stakes, sassy, voicey, and like bullet pointy short paragraphs, and like none of those reflected the content of the books. But obviously that's what's drawing people in, so then they're all doing that style.
Yeah.
Regardless of what the content of the book is, which was interesting, I thought. But also the content of the books, they were somewhat varied. Like one had got a prologue, which they didn't need, but fine.
Yeah.
And once you got into the main part of the book, they were all incredibly dialogue heavy, and they were like 90s teen TV dialogue-y.
Yes.
Like they felt like an episode of Saved by the Bell, but everyone was a little bit sassier, and they made occasional light allusions to like violence and graphic things, but lightly. But they felt like maybe a very special episode of a teen TV program. And this is gonna be the only strong thing I say. Yours had no conversation like that until like middle of chapter 4. It was nothing like these books.
Correct. I know.
Everything I read up until then, the writing was beautiful. Like the first page, I almost like thought I'd like bring it on and read it out loud in this podcast, but I was like, that's weird. I'm not going to read your own work to you. People should go and read it though. It's called The Moon is a Door. The writing is stunning. The first paragraph is stunning. Like just the first page, like the end of the first page is like wonderful. And it's like this beautiful lyrical prose, but you feel like you're in a real person's head, like you're in this young person's head. You follow them all the way on a journey, and you know she's going to this new experience. But like the comps would all cut that to the beginning of chapter 4 when you get to start and have a teen conversation, and also she would need to have like instant conflict, something romantic happening, and just be more like a drama queen. And like that's fine that you don't want to write that. Like why would you? Because this book is not like that and it's beautiful. But then who are you marketing this book to?
Yeah, 100%. And I've read the comps that I sent. Obviously, I have read them, and at the time, I knew that I wasn't like them, and I knew, and I don't want to say this in like a big-headed way, but I knew that my book was better.
Yeah.
But I thought that my vibe was similar in that I do have snarky characters. They just come about later on. But I knew that I had written something that was definitely more introspective than those books are, because those books are like a TV show. But I have this thing where and the books that I've written in the past as well, and I feel like I'm like a TV show writer, but I purposefully changed the way that I write to write this book because I wanted to try something different, but I didn't align. Like I hadn't, like my inner stars hadn't aligned. I had written something to take myself away from that kind of writing, but didn't change my marketing or like my comp stuff to kind of match the fact that I wasn't doing that anymore. So it was like I had an existential crisis then when I was trying to like figure everything out, because I had done something completely different. And even now I don't know how I managed to write that book. I feel like it was a fluke, and I'm really scared when the second book comes out everyone's going to say, this is terrible, what happened to the last what happened, because that other book was really good. So but I think that's just what everyone thinks, that their writing is forever trash. But yeah, I think like that I have such a conflict of like these, as I always say, the two wolves inside me, of one trying really hard and the other one not trying hard enough.
Mm-hmm.
Which, fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because it's interesting, like, it's like a self-sabotaging thing, is right? Like, write a book that's really, really good, but in a genre where no one wants a really, really good book. Mm-hmm. They want, like, fast-paced fun drama.
Yeah.
And your book is so introspective and, like, really captures a person's voice. And we're so in our head, but, like, people in this subgenre, like, that's not what they're looking for. So mm-hmm. no one's reading it, but, like, you're capturing that small fragment of people who are like, yes, finally a book for me. Mm-hmm. I've been waiting for this for a long time, but, like, that's not a lot of money in that.
Yeah.
And speaking from experience, there's not a lot of money for writing the weird book in a...
I know, and I don't know. I'm hoping that this is like my weird book series where... Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was saying this to Brian before we started talking about how we're going to be talking about the book and how I love this book and this series mm-hmm. that I'm writing, but this is... As much as I wanted it to be the series that made me money, I actually think it's the series that's teaching me a lesson.
I'm so done with lessons.
But I'm happy that it feels like a really good lesson because I feel like I've learned to write better.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've learned to have I really have a lot more confidence in what I'm doing from writing this series mm-hmm. and this book. Because I didn't think that I would be able to do it. I thought that I wouldn't be able to capture the story and write it well. Because even though I had it in my mm-hmm. head, I didn't think I'd be able to translate it very well. And I feel like I did. So I feel like I have learnt so much about myself and my writing. And in a bad way, how not to market a book. Or how to do something and not quite hit it. Mm-hmm. And I have like that stupid... positivity where I'm like, but the next series mm-hmm. you wait, I'm going to learn so much from this series that my next series is going to be the one.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting is like it's very obvious what you could change to make this more marketable, right? You could have written the book that would be in line with comps mm-hmm. Because all the ideas are right and you can see how the style of it is not right and like the length and it's like just moving things forward, moving things back, all the elements are there but in just like not quite the right dimensions.
Yeah.
So it does feel like one you can learn from. And one other thing I would ask you to learn or think about learning is like you sent me all links to the UK store.
I know.
All of your comps are doing better in the US store.
Yes. I'm such an Amazon.co.uk person. I never ever think about .com, and I know this is. That's
the weirdest thing you've ever said.
I know. I don't know. I can't even explain the mental block that I have. I can't even explain it because it's psychotic.
If I start typing Amazon on my computer, it brings up .com. That's how much I spend time at the .com store.
I never go on .com. And every now and again I'll check .com just for fun, but I never use Amazon.com.
Like all of your comps in the UK store look atrocious. They look like, why would you try and write them? One of them is in the US store ranked at 10,000 and I was like, oh, that's a great comp. You should be
I always look at .co.uk. Yeah, so I know I'm not going to do that for my next series. I'm going to completely switch to .com. Mm-hmm. I just have always been I just refuse to bend to the whim of the US. That's it. I'm like, I won't bend the knee.
That's where the people buy the books.
I know. I've just been very stubborn, but the stubbornness will end. I'm just going to see this. I'm just going to see this one through on .co.uk for a bit.
Okay.
But I am going to start. I'm only doing even with my ads and stuff. I'm only doing UK ads at the moment. Because it's a book set in the UK, so. It seems like an easier sell, but I know that that's just like a stupid mentality.
Because Americans do famously hate everything like cute and British. That's their worst.
Cute and British. But my next like ads and stuff are all going to be US, so I'll start focusing on that very soon.
Okay.
I promise.
Okay.
It's a psychotic thing. I can't explain it.
It's the worst thing about you. It's worse than you not eating sweets.
Yeah. Okay. I'll take that. I take it to heart.
Okay. Yeah, other things that I looked at when I was looking at trying to build like a small constellation is like really 100% identical covers. And I think what's interesting is like you're looking at someone else's genre. To me, it just looks like a mess. It just looks like here's a random like splat of all over the place things. Like, I can't even believe they're even similar. But I imagine that the cozy genre looks the same to other people because like within the cozy genre, there are like 1920s books. There are books that like very clearly coded to look British to American readers. There are books that are like very pet focused. There are books that are culinary. There are like all different niches in there, and like I look at it so much I can see them, so I can see enough to find like a couple of similar covers, the type that come up again and again. If I look into that, I can look at his also boughts and pull out easily a constellation of covers, right? And like that's my first thing I'm looking at is like I want the covers to look not identical, but like as if you could Photoshop bits and pieces in and out of them and they would look like they all belong. So like in the 1920s, for example, almost always you'll have an Art Deco border and you'll have an unreasonably long, thin woman in a beautiful sequin ball gown, often yellow, and she's facing forwards. And like you could crop each one of those women out and swap between the covers and it would be the same. But they all have different elements to them. So like some of them have got like a slightly more like arty background, like not realistic background. Some of them have got like a more cartoony style, some have got a dog in all the covers, some have got like a cocktail. Like there'll be different elements to them so you can recognise that series, but fundamentally you can easily find 4 or 5 covers that look mix and match. I sort of think of it like fuzzy felt. If you had fuzzy felt as a kid, you get like fuzzy felt with different elements in and out. They would belong in one box of fuzzy felt. You'll sell like the 1920s cozy mystery cover fuzzy felt, and you can make all these different covers. And so I could find the fuzzy felt ones. I could find the like Christmas ones. You could find there's like a group of them that's like kind of like humorousy ones. And so you're looking for like which covers, this is my expert analysis, which covers would belong in the same fuzzy felt kit. That's what you're looking for to start with comps. And then you want to look inside them and see like, are they each other's comps? And even if you only find like 1 or 2 covers that you think belong together, look in there and start to look at their comps and find the ones that have very identical covers. And then start to like, look at their blurbs. Are they similar? Well, they should always have, like 1920 is a good example because it's very, very similar. A female main sleuth. This is not always all 1920s, but like when you're looking for ones that are similar, you're trying to form a constellation. A young woman who's usually aristocratic wants to do something more interesting than just be a lady in a drawing room. Gets, plucky, sassy, gets drawn into a murder, solves it herself, and saves the day. But all without breaking a nail. So like you can find books where the blurb sounds identical, they should be the same lengths, they should have the same release schedule. You're looking for books with like, I would look at like the star ratings, and I was looking rather for comps for books that I wanted to see whether it was worth writing a niche. Like, do they have a good number of stars given the time they've been out? So some books have only been out for a couple months, but they had like 200-300 star ratings. Like, okay, that's fine. If they've been out for longer, they're looking for like more than 1,000. Do they have a release schedule that I could emulate? So some genres have got like, there's a 1 and 2 hour, 1 hour mystery thriller crime, I think it is, read, and 2 hour in that category as well. Those often have books that are out like every 1 to 2 weeks, and it's like they're novellas, so maybe, but would I like doing that? Maybe not. So I'm just like, when I'm trying to find constellations, I want to find things that are doing the same thing. And then even deeper when I was looking for comps, in order to think like, do I want to write like them? I then looked at like, how are they advertising? Because it had to be something that I could do. So like, you can look them on Facebook, you can see if you're on the comps page, like, are they advertising on Amazon? And if I couldn't find them advertising on Facebook or Amazon, I'd look for like, do they have a Facebook page? Are they on TikTok? And if it was none of those, I'd be like, I don't know what they're doing, so I can't do it. And some of them I do know what they're doing. Like someone has like a little publishing company that they publish several of the novellas through. They have like a sort of mini newsletter. I was like, they keep readers up that way. I can't really compete in that category unless I suddenly make my own like publishing company newsletter. So when I was looking at comps, like I think it was useful to look at quite a few things like that. But like I started with like the fuzzy felt covers.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's doable in all genres. I don't know. I would think so.
Yeah, probably. I think it's interesting because you have such a good analytical brain. So you are really good at like looking at something small and then being able to zoom out and out and out. Mm-hmm. and kind of know like how to expand from this one single point. And that's not how my brain works. So it's nice to hear you saying like, this is what I'd look at, and then I go here, and then I do this, and basically like opening more and more like tabs, or if you're doing like a brainstorm, you just be like adding more and more things to the different bubbles. Because
and that grew, right? When I was making a list of things I want to look at, I started just kind of was like, what else would I look at? What would I think about?
Yes.
And even I'm on my original list was like looking at the 5-star reviews and seeing what they all liked, and looking at 3-star reviews to find a whole. It's like, actually, I didn't do that that's the next stage when it comes to write whatever it is. But one thing that I definitely did do, because this is not the way my brain works, I'm not very good at it, is like look at the writing style, because I think the genre that I currently write in, which is culinary cozy, I think actually one of my big obstacles is I do not really write in that style. They have like naturally a very like light, very fun, easy read, and a very good word that a friend used when we were talking about books like this, because she also writes books that are like a little bit more of a challenging read. Like they can feel like homework. So it's like there's nothing wrong with it. I personally love homework. It helps you learn. But like, and I love learning, and I think I often do like a book that feels like homework, where it's like, oh, I'm really in it, I'm really engaged with it. But like I think really a lot of culinary crazy mystery authors, readers, they're not looking for homework, they're looking to turn their brains off. And if you're writing books that feel like homework, you will find some people who are like, yeah, I love that, and I read it maybe despite of that, or I read it because of that. But like again, that's not the market. The market is mostly people who are not looking for homework.
Yeah, I think that is a very good take, is that as much as we love things that are a little bit more complex, like I love a book that challenges you to like have to push yourself beyond what you could have imagined yourself. And I love that. But most people are reading for pleasure, to escape, for something like that they can read fast. And especially if they read like cozy mysteries, is the thing that people do is read a lot of them, and they're generally short, so they go through a lot of them. So it's a very soft touch on a story that they're looking for. It's like just to be able to kind of breeze. So it's like watching a rom-com. It's like you watch a rom-com and you don't watch it and try and figure out
what might happen next. I wonder if they'll end up together.
Yeah, like where the twist is coming from. Is that you watch it knowing that like every corner that they turn is going to be fine.
Yeah.
And like you don't have to try and figure anything out. And even with probably like with mysteries, it's like a cozy mystery, people probably are looking for very nice, easy answers in some respects, where like
and to be like led through the mystery.
You're led through, and things appear, and it's entertaining. And it's the same, I think, with my genre, is that people really just want things to happen at a faster pace. I know that I wrote a very slow book, but people,
I would not even describe it as slow. I imagine compared to the rest of the genre, people's comments are slow. It's not slow in its own thing. It does not feel like it's slow as a book. It's slow for the genre, but
very
it feels like
genre.
It's introspective in a way that suits the book.
Yes, but not what a reader wants.
No, I can imagine not.
What I want, but not what other readers want, and that is very much a struggle. Is when you write what you want, we're writers. We're not readers. Yeah. Well, I mean, we are readers, but like readers don't
I read everything.
Readers don't think in the same way that writers think.
Yeah.
So
one of my things I was looking at different niches was like, can I write in this style? And in fact, I had several niches, and one was Christmas cozy mystery, and also Christmas mystery, which I think are two slightly different things. And when I was looking at Christmas cozy mystery specifically, I'd read loads at Christmas. I made my advent calendar, and I read 25. The issue that I had was when I was looking at like, could I write in this style? There were actually like multiple different styles of Christmas cozies. Partly because like it's quite a hungry market, and people really do want to read Christmas mysteries, and such. That could be a positive thing if I were in a different place than I am right now. But because there was such a wide variety of styles, I was like, I don't feel confident I'm going to hit the quote-unquote right style, like a style people are looking for. I feel like I could write a Christmas cozy mystery And even though it's a hungry genre, a hungry market, we're like, nobody wants to read it. And I'd be really deflated. And it's like, I feel like I've written enough books now that people don't fall in love with and don't care about reading. It's like, I need to find something that feels more like I'm setting myself up for success rather than be like, I've written a book. Where does it fit?
Yeah, because I would say from reading yours and looking at your comps that you're such a good writer, and I know that you are like,
don't feel that way right now, but thank you.
Don't feel like that. But I think that I'm always in awe of your writing. I think that you are such a good writer, but there are stark differences
Maybe
between...
I'm like an unappreciated in my lifetime sort of artist. Maybe I'll be like Van Gogh. Oh my god.
Yeah. In 50 or 60, 100 years, they'll be singing your praises. But they're definitely the thing that your writing lacks, to use a terrible word, is the cutesy element. The comps that you gave, although like one of them wasn't particularly cutesy, but they definitely were kind of good at getting across like the cozy British countryside thing. Like they very much, the comps that you gave very much shoved setting down your throat. And it was like the first thing that you read was exactly where this place is, and exactly what all of the characters' personal relationships are, and exactly where it was just so much like a look at me, look, this is where I am, isn't this so cute and cozy, and isn't this just Stars Hollow, and isn't this just like, can't you just imagine living here, sort of things. And your writing is not that cute. It's more analytical. Like your character is definitely more, because there's no romance as well. They are, I don't want to say it's colder, but it's that your character is not bothered by anything other than their own pursuit. And that was like the only difference was that your writing isn't as cutesy charming as other people. And I think that it doesn't make your book bad, it's just it was very immediately starkly different to the others. And that's like,
and I think it's one of the things, like, as like said previously, I don't really notice romance in books because I'm not interested in it. It's like,
yes,
to me, when I wrote that, I intended to be the same, but I was like, oh, the cute stuff is a bit slow, so like let's get some more interesting details in there rather than like just like linger over this, like, 2 sentences about what something smells like. Let's go, let's get some action in. And it's like, it's got the cute things in, but it's not cutesy.
Yes, exactly that. Like, and your turns of phrases and the way that you describe things is so like that is very cute. Like, you've got such lovely phrasing, and I can imagine, like, I can picture the stuff that you're writing about, but it's like the difference between the start of The Wizard of Oz, where she's in Kansas, and then when she gets
That's
to
horrible.
Oz. No, not in a horrible way.
Nobody wants to watch The Wizard of Oz bit where she doesn't go into Oz. Nobody wants to watch her in Kansas.
I like the Kansas stuff
You would
personally.
not watch me like the Kansas side of it.
But it's just the stark difference. It's like okay, no, okay.
I do know what you mean. No, I
I'll
do
take
mean,
it
because I
back.
think
The other books are the Lollipop Guild, and
Okay.
you are just somewhere else in Oz. So it's just like, it's like,
I'm just like someone who's doing a job. I'm like someone
it's
who's
the
making
same-
the lollipops.
Yeah, it's like the same realm, but they've written about the Lollipop Guild and like this like super cute, like people singing and carrying big lollipops or whatever they were doing.
Like, we've got a job to do, guys. Can we get some
and
word up
you're
today?
like, you're laying the bricks of the, like you're the person laying the yellow brick road, being like talking about like somebody's died on the yellow brick road, we've got to sort it out, and they're there singing. So that's the difference. It's just like they have gone above and beyond, and I think it's because you're so like, your character is very independent, and though the characters in your comps were not independent people.
No, and they should. I know. It's something you should do. And I think have kept thinking like, oh, I can make my writing like that, but like I can't.
I don't think you should have to. I don't like, personally, just to be the person who, like, I'm trying to build you back up here. Is that I love an independent character, and I'm the same. Like, I don't write characters who like to rely on other people. Like, that's me putting my personal problems into my books. It's like, gotta be self-sufficient, never rely on anyone else. And I write that into my books. All of my characters that I've ever written are those people. And I don't
suits your genre, though.
Thankfully, if I can, but I need to put romance into my books because people do want romance.
Me too.
But yeah, I don't think that standalone people are what cozy mystery readers are looking for. But other than that, I loved your book, and I think that your writing was really good. But it just wasn't Stars Hollow. It was All Creatures Great and Small, which is just slightly different.
Is that the
British reference? Yeah, I think so. Like, yeah, Stars Hollow versus like a Yorkshire town.
Yeah.
Like, they have kind of some of the same qualities. It's a small town, local people, but very different tone.
Yeah. But James Herriot is not like, let's spend the night sitting in the diner. He's like, we have got a job to do.
Yes. Yeah, there's sheep to shear and stuff.
Yeah. I'll put All Creatures Great and Small in the show notes. The weird that is like a reference I had to today. I was listening to the podcast where they were talking about it.
Weird. I'm
in fact, it was Abby Emmons' podcast they were talking about it, so I will also link to that.
Oh, yes.
You're watching too much Abby Emmons. Yes, it's a podcast she has with her sister, which I'm not sure they make anymore, but it was an episode about character, and...
Oh, yeah, that was from only like a couple of months ago. I don't think it was that long ago.
I think so, yeah. I don't know.
I could have made that up. It could have been I saw it a couple of months ago. Who knows?
But I will link to that.
Yeah, this is the thing, isn't it? Is that your writing style, you write so well, but it's just trying to find the soul. It's just trying to find your constellation.
I mean, worse than writing about the black and white version of Wizard of Oz. When I did a master's in creative writing.
That was cruel.
Yeah. It's not even the worst thing someone said about writing. I did a master's in creative writing, and you get a person at the end of the course who does your dissertation with you. So your dissertation is you write the first, I think, 10,000, 15,000 words of a novel. And we had our final feedback session, and she had not been a very good, mentor of the dissertation, but anyway. And she was like, I really think you should write non-fiction. It's like, end of a year long fiction masters, that's an inside your head thought. That's not an outside your mouth thought.
You can't say that. You can't, at the end.
And I think she might be right, but what am I going to do about that?
She's not right. She's not writing books. Where is she?
She very much is writing books. Yeah, shortlist of the Booker Prize. Really very much writing books.
She doesn't know what she's talking about. She only knows herself. She probably hasn't done as much research into genre as you have.
That's true.
She's probably a Nepo baby. There, I said it. A publishing Nepo. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, but I think that the key for me is finding the right genre for my style, because I have not found it so far.
No,
and it is disheartening.
I think that you're close, and I think that with all the research, because you've sent me some research that you've been doing for your genre research, and I think that I think that you haven't hit it yet. From what you've got in your document, I feel like you're really close, but I don't think the genres that you've listed are it. Okay. I feel like there's a hidden planet, a dark planet. Planet 13, is is it Planet 9? How many planets are in our solar system? Have
12?
You ever heard of this?
9, I don't know.
Okay.
What are you talking about?
In our solar system,
there is 13.
There is a rumored 13th planet,
okay.
which we never see because it is in some weird.
Is this a tarot
orbit
thing?
No, this is a geeky sci-fi conspiracy theory thing.
Okay.
where there's a planet that we can't see because of we're locked in orbit with it, so our telescopes never see it.
I said, like, this is real. This is something real.
Oh yeah, it's 100% real. Definitely a true conspiracy theory if ever there was one. And I think that that's what you're looking for. I think you're locked in orbit with something that you don't know. But
Okay.
I feel like you are almost there. And I can't tell you what it is, because I too don't know about this hidden planet. But I know that from the research that you've done, there's something that you're missing.
Okay.
Super helpful.
That's horrifying.
Very, very vague. I just think it's because you've in what you've been talking about is changing your writing style to fit a genre, but then just like 5 minutes ago you said you need to find the genre to fit your writing style. So I think that that's the thing. I think that
But I think I could write in different styles, right? Like, I think the first two in there, both styles that, like, I enjoyed writing in. And I don't want to just write books that are just like only I want to read.
Yes, but you need to write books that you want to write as well.
Yeah.
Because we both know this about ourselves, is that
Yeah.
we have to be emotionally connected to it as well.
Yeah.
And if you haven't felt that yet, is it because there's something missing? Is there another genre that you haven't thought about, or subgenre?
Maybe.
Just putting it out there. Just, gotta throw questions out into the universe.
That's a real, like, Joe Rogan just asking questions. That's not helpful.
Yeah, I just think that you...
But maybe this will be helpful. Maybe this is the questions that I need to hear, and I will have an epiphany. Yeah, this feels like I am yet to have this epiphany.
I think so, and I feel the same for me as well. I have yet to have the epiphany. But I know that I'm on the cusp of something. But I don't know what it is. I don't know, because I can't see it because I'm locked in orbit. Everyone has a hidden planet 13.
They don't. This is not the advice we're giving in the podcast.
I actually do think there is an astrology thing about this as well, though. I feel like there is something to do with this in astrology. So I think it's like a stupid woo-woo thing as well as a conspiracy.
Okay. Both science, then. Two types of science.
Two types of science. But obviously, yeah, very, very well researched.
Yes. Do you have anything else to say?
I do. I looked at your cover, with your comp covers, and also your synopsis. So I might as well just finish with a double punch. Is that it's funny how, like, I know that your cover is very, very much in the genre, but also not.
Yeah. I think it's a bit like we say, maybe like it's taking a bit from A, a bit from B, a bit from C.
Yes, yeah.
But it's not any one of those things. It's not in the constellation.
With the comps that you sent me, I mean, and it's something really simple, I think, because the comps that you sent are very colour based. Like you glance at them, and there is one colour that jumps out at you on and they're different colours, but they're very like bold in their colour choice. And I think that your book it does have its own colour, but it is the most boring, simple part is just the font on the title. Like the readability of the font on your of the title is that on these books it takes up 1/3 to half of the book, and yours feels like it takes up a lot less space, and that's just like a stupid design thing. Whereas yours is a nicer design by far, but you don't read the title at a glance.
Yeah.
And then also with your synopsis, I think that yours is just ordered in a different way to everybody else's. I know this isn't helpful because I can't. I haven't written down. I've written down like a synopsis analysis. What did I write? Oh, the synopsis of your comps led with the murder or the crime in the first paragraph, and yours didn't. Yours was like maybe the fourth paragraph where it said like a body is found. So it's just like literally just little things like those are like the annoying tweaks that we always talk about. Like, forever
Yeah.
talking about changing covers and changing synopsis of stuff.
Yeah.
That's like for like always like, and with the ads that I've been running, and I ran an ad last week and it got like 13 KU page reads. That was it. So I went and I took it into Meta AI and I was like, I ran this ad and it looks great, but it's not done anything. And Meta AI was like, well, I mean, your synopsis doesn't really promise anything. It's like, fantastic.
All right, Zuckerberg.
Yeah, so it's like, it just is like every single, and I feel like every single time you do something, you can change your synopsis. Like every suggestion is change your synopsis, change the cover, change the synopsis. Like how many times are you supposed to do that work over and over again? I don't know. Like that feels like a constantly moving goalpost. So like in some respects, it's hard to know what the right thing is for those things, because then everyone, even if you were to change your cover to match, if they change their covers in 6 months, are you then going to have to change your cover again? So everyone's trying to keep up with everyone, and that's
It's like they're not very similar covers, right? Like there's not like a because the style is not particularly similar to other people. It's not like, oh, if I look like this book, people who like this book will buy my book. It's like, maybe not. So I have to change the content and the cover, and it's like, well, I'm basically changed the whole book then.
Yeah. Yes. It's very difficult. I think that the biggest thing that we've learned from this episode is that picking a comp is actually a science.
Yeah, and you should do it before you write a book.
And you should do it before you write the book.
Yeah.
Curses.
I think that is a good lesson. It's not a nice lesson, but it is useful.
Yeah.
We have learned.
I thought I'd already learned that, you see, but I didn't.
I thought I'd learned that.
I definitely have not.
No.
Which is ridiculous. But I think that because we're both at the point now where we're trying to plan our next move and thinking about and like doing research and stopping before we jump. Like we'll get it.
Okay.
We're gonna get it.
I feel like maybe 47% less positive, but I'm still in it. I'm still in the game, but I don't think I'm playing well.
I think you will play well very soon.
Okay. On that note. Oh God, I don't want to do next week's episode. Next week.
And this brings us perfectly into...
Next week, we're talking about rewriting books that we've already released. Why would we do that?
Because we didn't get it right the first time. No, in all honesty, it's because we both
That is why.
Yes, exactly. It is why. We both have books on our backlist that, after doing all of this stuff that we're talking about, and like with our current series, we know that those other books could also be tweaked, but it feels kind of weird to do it, and it feels a bit like a waste of time. Like, should I not be working on the next thing? Why am I working on the last thing? And it also kind of, to me, makes me feel like I'm admitting that I didn't do a good job, and all the people that have previously read it are...
They were fools.
They were fools, and I have tricked them in some way.
Yeah.
That is how it feels. I feel like a bad person. So I want to have a conversation about that and try and figure out if I can feel better about it.
Okay. I don't have good things to say about this, so I'm going to leave it till next week.
Yeah, okay. That is fair enough. Yeah.
Yes. If you would like to join us cheerful too, and other people that are more cheerful than us, other people with better things to say, in our Discord, we can be found at the Epiphany Engine. Link is in the show notes, where you can join us for just chit chat, some commiserating, some celebrating, some stupid question asking, which we always love. There are also membership tiers for more things like joining us for co-working, joining us for this week is the first bashing day. I get to lead a bashing day. It's very exciting. So yeah, also membership information. The link is in the show notes for that, and the information about the tiers is in our link as well. It's a coffee pay through. It's a monthly membership that you can cancel at any time. So join us there. It helps support the podcast and it helps support all of us to keep writing and keep working and not give up even when we feel like giving up.
Mm-hmm.
We will
100%.
see you again next week though, because we won't give up. See you again next week. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
You've been listening to Pen to Paycheck Authors.
Stay tuned for our next episode and don't forget to subscribe to learn how to write your way to financial success.